We're live. Hope everybody can get in here quickly so we can get started. I love my cup. It says Mommy Fuel. Not drinking coffee though. I am drinking Creo brew with a little heavy whipping cream and stevia, and it's really yummy. Delicious. All right, I'm just going to wait for a few more minutes for people to come in. Don't forget to say hello when you pop in. Hello, you're all here. Is it just me or does my lens seem fuzzy? I should probably, check that before going live. Here, let me see if I can. Sorry. I don't know if that's any better. Not really. I don't know what it still is. I don't want to mess with it too much. Before I get started, I want to tell you guys I got my bottom braces today. It looks really wonky. So if I talk funny and all of a sudden I bite myself and I start crying, that would be why. He had to put them so low because my teeth, even after being pulled clear out of my face, I swear, are still too close to the bottom ones for them to really fit. So he told me they're probably going to fall off. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, anyway, so if I talk weird, I literally just got them on like an hour ago. So that would be why. I'm not used to talking with them on yet. All right, so who is here? Let's see. I see a few of you are here. Keto Grace, hi. Karen Rothwell, woohoo, glad you're here. Teresa, Keto Fat Girl No More. Both of you are my head choppers if anything gets out of hand in that chat, okay, you guys? Apple, hello. Pamela E, hello. Lisa Naran, hello. Tony Riley, hi. Angela, ADH Snuggles is here. Gidget Burke is here. And Tara Stevens from New Zealand. Woohoo! Welcome, everyone. Okay, first I want to give an update on the Mexico trip. So far, they still have not finished the websites. If you want to keep checking, the website is going to be called Ketolish 2019. So Ketolish 2019.com. But as of now, it is still just a parked website. I tried emailing her this morning and I haven't heard back. So I am not sure what is going on with the Mexico trip. I would really like them to get it done in time so that I can help really advertise it so we can actually get the 50 people to sign up, because without the 50 people, it won't happen at all. And I really want to go to Mexico. Just saying. So I'm hoping that will be something I can announce better, but that's going to be a meet and greet. I'm going to be teaching a class. I think I'm teaching on how to maintain your keto diet during a busy lifestyle with a lot of going on. I'm sure you guys know that I am the queen of that. So yeah, that ought to be a good thing for me to talk about. So if you want to come to Mexico in August with me, keep an eye out on that website. Don't forget to say I referred you, because I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I do. Everyone that comes from me gets a 10% discount, and I also get a $40 thing towards my flights, because I only get enough flight money for one flight. I don't get two. So Dave, we've got to earn his flight money. Something like that. I don't know how it works, but I really want to go. And if we don't get 50 people to sign up, then we won't get to go. And that's just how it is. And they have to be signed up by May 15th. So I really hope they get on the ball with that very soon, because I don't want to run out of time. You know what I mean? Okay, so why am I talking about keto flu again? Guys, I mean, I only have beaten this soapbox a million times on this channel. There is a specific reason why I decided to do this subject today and why I felt like it was needed. Recently on Lori Keto's channel, I noticed a video. She was so kind to shout me out. Oh, I should have brought over my magazines. Dang it, they're downstairs. If you guys didn't notice, I have been put in the 2019 Keto Diet magazine from Women's World without even my knowledge at all, in two different versions of it. There's two different covers. Dang it, I should have brought that up there and show you. So she did shout out my magazine in that video, and I knew she was going to, and so that's kind of why I was watching it. But I guess she was really struggling on keto, and she had talked to Keto Christina, and she'd given her some advice and some Dr. Westman advice and stuff like that. And she's talking about how she has the keto flu. She swears she has the keto flu, but everyone's telling her it's not possible because she's like 14 months on keto. And here am I, like banging my head against the floor. Bonk, bonk. And so she messaged me. Well, I messaged her and she messaged me anyway. And I basically said, I don't understand like how you don't know this already. I don't understand how you guys don't know that keto flu is not something you just get through, because I talk about it all the time. And I was trying to give her a video where I talked about it. And heck if I could find one that said keto flu in the subject, and that, you know, like I talk about it so much, it's like in so many videos, but I couldn't find one that I had specifically addressed keto flu, what it is. I mean, I know I have, but it didn't say so in the title. It was really difficult to find. So I apologize. I'm like, sorry to Lori, because maybe if I'd had that and it had been more like apparent, maybe she wouldn't have realized sooner that she was correct, that she was going through keto flu again. So, truth, false, fact, fiction, myths, reality when it comes to keto flu. That's what I want to talk about. And of course, how can we avoid having it all together? I don't know that there's a way like you could really avoid having it all together forever and ever, just because life is life and it's hard and you don't always do what you're supposed to do. But in a perfect world, if you were to do everything I tell you to do, you should not have keto flu at all. That's the long and short of it. So, first of all, what the heck is keto flu? A lot of people confuse keto flu with that initial drop off of glycogen that happens when you're first trying to move from carb burning to ketosis. That achy, I want to eat carb feeling that you kind of just have to push through that first week to get through it. And then hopefully, if you stay in ketosis, you never have to feel that again. So yeah, that is not keto flu. That's just glycogen depletion and convincing your body to go into ketosis. That's just moving into ketosis. That's all that is. That is not keto flu, and is not what they're talking about. When they're talking about keto flu, it's a completely different thing. Completely different. So I wanted to explain that a little bit so that you guys understood, because if you are going into a ketogenic way of eating, I think I'm the biggest advocate for avoiding keto flu that is out there. And I feel like really frustrated because I feel like there should be a lot more said about it and a lot more emphasis put on it. Because I feel like a lot of people are saying, like what Lori Keto was saying, once you get through it, you don't have it anymore and you never have to worry about it again, which that is not true. It's not true at all. It could be, and you may have that experience, which obviously Lori did for 14 months. But keto flu can strike at any moment, and here is the reason why. Keto flu is electrolyte imbalance. That's what it actually is. Basically, when your electrolytes get low or out of whack, you start to feel cruddy, and that's what keto flu is. If you've been eating standard American diet and you go into keto, and you go into ketosis and you get through that initial glycogen burn, getting them moving into ketosis thing, you'll feel pretty good for a few days, maybe even a week, before keto flu will set in. Keto flu, when you're not moving from a low carb, when you're moving from standard American diet, and your body's got a lot of water retention, things like that, usually won't hit you until about, close to 2 weeks in. And I warn every single person that I coach to avoid keto flu. And almost to a person, every single one of them not listening to me, not listening, until 2 weeks in, when they call me crying because they're dying. They think they are, and they're not. They just didn't do what I said to do. So don't let your electrolytes get out of balance. If you're just getting started on keto, it is very important, especially to get a handle on it. So if you go to my Keto for Beginners playlist, I have 3 videos. The first one is basically what is ketosis and how to get into it. It's about bringing your carbs under 20 and what that looks like and learning to track your carbs. Okay, week 2, I talk about electrolytes because that tends to be when people start to feel cruddy. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't start the electrolytes from day 1 if you can handle it. But some people really need to be things in bite-sized pieces if they're getting started on something. So Keeping your carbs under 20 is first thing to do because it gets you into ketosis. But the very second thing to do before you ever worry about macros, before you ever worry about calories, before you ever step on the scale even, like you can't, before any of it is important, you must get a handle on your electrolytes. So electrolyte needs are different on this diet than any other way of eating. And you will need to supplement your electrolytes the entirety of the rest of your life if you're planning to stay on keto forever. All the time you are having a low carb diet, you will need to supplement your electrolytes the entire time. You need to embrace it, find a way to make it work for you, and do it. Now, I know there are some people who have told me a million times, I don't need it, doesn't matter, I get plenty from my food, whatever. Those people are the anomaly, and they are not the norm. The norm is that you will come up into the second week and you will start to feel tired, and you will start to feel a little foggy headed and a little bit headachy, and you'll start to wonder what's going on, but you won't really know if you didn't pay attention what to do, and it will get progressively worse to the point where you might have splitting headaches. You might not be able to think clearly. You might not be able to speak clearly. You will have muscle cramping. You have difficulty in so many areas. And I like to joke because, there was a Facebook thing that went around, a meme for a long time that said, like, I have all these ailments and coconut oil will fix them all. And it made me laugh because I don't really hold coconut oil as the high standard of whatever. But with keto, the same is true for sodium. So pretty much every ailment on keto can be cured by salt. Such a small and simple thing that you really never really paid attention to before, unless you were eating a low sodium diet for a reason. You probably haven't really paid attention to your sodium intake, except for maybe you choose a low sodium item at the store thinking it was more healthy, because the USDA has convinced us that salt is bad for us. Not in the case of a ketogenic diet. In the case of a ketogenic diet, salt is vital. If you do not have it, you will get sick. And that's the reason that Atkins was vilified, and why it didn't really work and why it didn't really take off when it could have, was because they didn't really have a handle on that whole sodium supplementation thing. And so a lot of people got really sick and they said, oh, the diet is bad. No, the diet is not bad. The diet is actually good. And the reason why you need the sodium on it is because of a good thing, which is this diet is anti-inflammatory. You are going to drop all of the held water out of your body. If you've heard of a thing called a whoosh, your initial whoosh will happen probably that first week. If you've been eating a standard American diet and you're going into ketosis, you're going to drop a crap ton of water, which is the reason why you will immediately go into keto flu. Because along with that water, you will also be dumping your sodium, your potassium, and your magnesium. And it is vital to replace those, or else your body will not be able to function. Because believe it or not, your body needs sodium and potassium and magnesium to run at all. It does not run well without those things. And when those things become depleted, you do risk actual death. You can die from sodium being too low. You absolutely can. Just like you can die from your potassium being too high. Same thing, sodium being too low is extremely dangerous. I have a friend whose grandmother was living with them, and she was getting more and more forgetful by the day, and she was having so many struggles, and they were thinking she was getting dementia and that she was on her way out. And finally one day she woke up and she couldn't move. They took her to the hospital, and what the heck was wrong with this woman? She had no sodium. They had her on diuretics and a low sodium diet, and literally they were killing her. Literally killing her. That is what this diet is. It's a diuretic. And so if you're on it, you need to replace your sodium, or you could end up in a really serious situation. Now, you probably won't get that bad off because you're probably tending to eat bacon and putting salt on your eggs and salting your food. Your body will crave salt. So salt will taste good to you. And so you'll tend to put salt on your foods. So you probably won't get so bad off that you end up in the hospital. But you could if you're not careful. But what I'm talking about is supplementing sodium on top of all of those additions to your food. I'm talking about adding a buffer zone so that you make sure you never, ever get to that place. Because what happens is your body gets low on sodium, It will actually dump your potassium first. And potassium is vital to so many functions in your body, it's not even funny, including your heart, and you will get chest pains. That's my main worry when I get too low on my electrolytes is the chest pains. I have gotten them multiple times and it's really, really scary. And so when you let your sodium drop, your body panics and it dumps the potassium because for some reason your body thinks it needs the sodium more. Well, and maybe it does, and maybe it's more important, but I'll tell you what, when your potassium is low, your body hurts. When your sodium is low, your brain doesn't work. But when your potassium is low, everything hurts. You get chest pains, you can get muscle cramping, things like that. So, in order to prevent that from happening, we need to keep our sodium at a really high level. Just imagine in your mind that your sodium is constantly all day long being depleted. Every time you use the restroom, you're losing your sodium. Keep that in mind. That's the reason why I recommend supplementing your sodium multiple times a day and spreading it out over time so that your body gets a bolus of sodium and it doesn't panic. Because if it panics, you'll drop your potassium and that's harder to build back up. If you keep your sodium level at a decent level, the potassium you eat from food will just stick around and do its job, and you won't need to supplement potassium at all. You should be able to get plenty from the food you're eating because all meats have potassium, all green veggies have potassium. Most of the foods we eat on keto have a lot of potassium. And so as long as we keep that sodium level where it's comfortable for our body, our potassium level should theoretically not drop. So you have to be really careful. Anytime in your keto journey, if your sodium gets too low, this will happen. This isn't something that you will get through and never suffer from again. If you got through that first week and you've never had to supplement sodium, and I have noticed that people that do the higher fat, regular standard version of keto don't seem to need as much sodium as those who do the higher protein version, which is what I recommend and which is what I do. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if the body just needs more sodium to process that protein, or if maybe the higher protein version is even more anti-inflammatory and so you tend to lose more water, which I don't think that's the case since I seem to retain water for 2 weeks out of the month. So I don't know exactly why, but it seems like those who follow my macros tend to need more sodium than those who are doing the high fat, low carb standard version of keto. Now, the way I'm doing it, is a little better, I think, because I feel like you can lose weight faster on it. But you can lose weight just fine on the standard keto as well. So don't let the sodium be a thing that holds you back from trying the more Atkins version of keto, because it's definitely doable. It's definitely doable. So what are the recommendations that I recommend? Okay, so Dr. Finney recommends 5 grams of salt. He includes food in that. The site that I learned everything from recommends 5 grams of salt, or not salt, sodium. I'm saying it wrong. 5 grams of sodium, not salt. That's different. 5 grams of sodium on top of food to be safe. And so you can have a buffer zone. You really need to decide what's the good number for you, what you can take per day. Plus, based on the time of year and what you are doing physically, you may need more or less. I have noticed that in the summer months, I need a lot more. And in the winter months, maybe not so much. And you just kind of can judge how you feel. If you all of a sudden start to feel lightheaded and you feel keto flu starting to come on, it's really easy to prevent it from getting too bad. As soon as you feel tired at all, or as soon as you feel muddle-headed at all, you immediately take a bolus of sodium, you should be good. It should kick in 10 minutes and you'll feel better and you'll go, oh yeah, that's what was wrong with me. So there you go. I personally recommend doing it the 5,000 milligrams on top of food. So that ends up putting me closer to 8,000 milligrams per day, sometimes as high as 11 or 12, especially in the summer, or if I'm exercising and sweating a lot. So on days like today where I have my clogging class, or tomorrow when I have my ballet class, I'll tend to take a little bit more, like I'll drink some during class, like an extra tablespoon of Soleil water. So Soleil water is how I choose to supplement because it's fast. At the beginning, I didn't do that. I just had real salt that I would measure out in a baggie that I would carry around with me all day. And I would just every hour and a half or so, I would just put some in my hand and eat it out of my hand. That's how I did it at the beginning. But you do need to weigh it out and measure it at the beginning of the day so you can track it if you're going to do it that way. You can also put it in water and just mix it up and chug it. You can also swallow pink Himalayan rock salt crystals like pills. That's actually one I wish I would have thought of doing, because that's the kind of salt that I have to make my Sole water. And that's actually pretty clever. So, but you still have to weigh it out and take that certain amount during the day. So you wouldn't necessarily need to weigh out each dose if you kind of got an idea of how much in your hand is about a quarter of what you needed to swallow for the day, and then just did that 4 times a day. You could easily make that work for you. But for me, I find that Sole water is the best way to do it for me. Now, you can mix Sole water with Mio water enhancer, like the stuff I put in my yogurt, and some water. The strawberry pineapple smash tastes amazing with the salt. You can mix it up in a bottle of water and call it Ketorade. You could even add a little bit of potassium salt in there if you want a little bit of potassium to kind of give yourself a buffer zone for potassium as well. And then just drink on that, sip on it or whatever, or chug it if you only put a tablespoon in. Whatever way you got to do to get it in. The number one thing you need is 5 grams of sodium, or 5,000 milligrams of sodium. Don't count the salt in your food unless you want to. Just don't worry about it. Just plan it to be a supplement and find the way you're going to do it and measure it. It has to be measured. So this is the way I do it. And I'm embarrassed to show my bottle today because it's actually really pink. It's supposed to be clear. The reason mine is pink today is because I actually used the dregs out of the bottom of my salt container, and there was a lot of like minerals in that powder at the bottom of my salt bag, and it was floating on the top of my water, and I didn't want to waste it. So I'm just drinking the minerals alongside my sodium. So it's not clear today. It's supposed to be clear. So there's a video on my channel how to make it. You can search that up. It's SOLE is how you spell it. Sole water. There's videos on other channels as well, and they're all the same. It's how everyone makes it the same. You have a clear jar. You add a quarter of the jar of salt, any kind except table salt. Add water to it, shake it up, let it sit for 24 hours. Then that clear water on the top is your Sole water, and there's about 14,000 milligrams of sodium in every tablespoon. So it's measurable, it's trackable. And in my little thing here, this is a GoStack container. You can see the name here, GOSTAK. I got it off Amazon. No, I'm not an affiliate yet. Someday I will be, and maybe I'll make a grundle off of GoStack. I don't know. But I'm too busy to deal with trying to become an affiliate. But I'm going to at some point. Anyway, GoStack container, this right here, and on each one, there's a line. I've measured it out, and it fits about 22 milligrams or 22 grams, not milligrams, milliliters, not milligrams. Oh my gosh, 22 milliliters or 22 grams of sodium, of salt water. Oh my gosh, I can't talk today. What is the deal? It's my braces. I know it. Of the Sole water, so you can measure it out, and I know that's about 2,000 milligrams of sodium. So I can take 3 and get 6,000 milligrams in a day. Or I can take 4 if I feel like I need an extra. Does that make sense? So I can just take it with me, pour it in here, and chug it and swallow water. That's how I do it because it's fast. But you can measure it out and put it in with Mio water enhancer or whatever you want to do to make it palatable. It will burn like a mother if you take it on an empty stomach without any water chasing it. I highly recommend taking it with your food if you're new at it. And if you take it and 20 minutes later, you're sitting on the pot, you're going to need to spread it out more and take a teaspoon at a time instead of a tablespoon and work your way up. Your body will get used to it, and you will get to the point where you can take 2 tablespoons at once and it will do nothing to you. It's like your body learns to embrace it and doesn't flush it right away as it learns that it's going to be available. So that is how I choose to do it. Now, potassium and magnesium are also very important to avoid keto flu, but I always punch the sodium because it's the one that always gets you into trouble. You could be 14 months in your journey and alter something in your keto diet. You could have been doing the high-fat version like Lori Keto and having a lot of heavy cream and nuts and things that are inflammatory, and then realize that that's what's holding you back, and take the nuts and the heavy cream out of your diet and bring your carbs down lower, and you will have a water whoosh, just like you did at the beginning of keto, which will take away all your sodium, and you will get horrible, bad keto flu if you do not supplement your sodium right away. So anytime you start going to the restroom a lot more than usual, and you're having any kind of a whoosh at all, it doesn't even have to be major, pay very, very close attention to that sodium, because tomorrow you might be miserable if you don't. The days that you're retaining water, it isn't as vital. I've noticed that Like the weeks that I am retaining water, I don't have to be as careful about my Sole, but I know which week I'm going to start dropping water, which is this week. So then I'm paying very, very, very close attention to it. So potassium levels, what you really need if you have your sodium levels up high, which, 5 grams of sodium or more, then your potassium can be as low as 1,000 and you should be okay. So 1,000 to 3,500 milligrams of potassium from food is my recommendation, is the recommendation from Dr. Finney. It's the recommendation from the group that I am no longer part of, where I learned everything. So 1,000 to 3,500 milligrams of potassium from food. I do add a little light salt on my eggs to have a little bit of a buffer. You can use some potassium salt in your food if that makes you feel better, or put it in your Ketorade, like I said before, like a gram, and just have a gram a day or whatever. But you don't want to overkill the potassium, and you want to track it as much as possible, because if you get too high on your potassium, it can stop your heart. If you're doing the high sodium, you do not need to supplement potassium usually. Make sure you're getting it from foods. Most of your foods will have it, especially if you're doing the higher protein version. You should be able to get oodles of potassium without supplementing. Now, if you're having trouble with the sodium, you can flip-flop them. You can bring the sodium to the 1,000 to 3,500 milligram level, and you can bring the potassium up to the 4,500-ish level. I personally don't recommend that because I feel like it's dangerous, because I feel like there's potassium that maybe doesn't get tracked by the tracker, or maybe you put something, like you didn't track it accurately, and you could end up with too much, and it could be a big, huge issue. So if you're going to do that, I'm staying out of that. That's not up to me. I'm not recommending that. And if you choose to do it, like, you're on your own, because that just makes me too nervous. That makes me too nervous. But a lot of people feel like the sodium causes them to have water retention, which it usually doesn't for a long period of time. It's usually only about a week, and then it goes away, just like it does with me every 4 weeks. Some people say it raises blood pressure. It did not raise my blood pressure. I had 175/94 blood pressure when I started this diet, and I've done it from basically 1 week in. I've done the sodium, and it never raised my blood pressure any higher, and now my blood pressure is gone down to normal. So I don't know. That's just my personal experience. So I get my potassium from food. I don't really use any supplements. Like, I tried using ZipFizz for a while, but something in ZipFizz actually gives me chest pain. I don't know if it's the potassium or if it's the added things. It's not the caffeine, because I can have the caffeine in other things and it's not a bother. I mean, I'll drink a Bang and it has 300 milligrams of caffeine. That's 100 more than a ZipFizz. So it can't be that. So I don't know. I don't take it anymore because I feel like it just caused me more problems. I don't really know why, but I don't use it. But you can, and you can get potassium citrate powder from Amazon. You can choose to do that if you so desire. When it comes to magnesium, I kind of stick to 2 different kinds of magnesium, or I stick to recommending 2 different kinds of magnesium. There's a lot of different ones out there, and they all do different things. Magnesium glycinate is the one I personally take, and then magnesium malate is the other one I recommend. There are a lot of other ones. There are some that you should avoid if you can. You should avoid oxide just because it's not absorbable. You have to eat a lot more of it in order to get the benefit. And the second one is citrate. The only time I recommend citrate is if you are having constipation issues that are severe and you really need things to move. They are a lot better at moving the bowel than other magnesiums, but they can interfere with cellular processes, according to the Magnesium Council on Facebook, or the Magnesium Group on Facebook. So I just say to avoid it on a daily, but have it if you want to, if you're struggling with any constipation, things like that. So glycinate will help relax you. So if you're having insomnia, or your muscles just aren't relaxing at night and you feel like you're having restless legs and you just can't get sleep, glycinate will really help. Glycinate doesn't move the bowel as well. And so I personally take about 600, I think it's 625. I take a dose of 3 pills a day, and 2 pills is 425. So it's like 6 something, it's a little over 600 milligrams. And that's how much I take it. It seems to keep me fairly regular, where I'm, having a bowel movement every 2 to 3 days, and it's normal, and that's normal for keto. So that's what I personally take, is glycinate. And I take 1 pill in the morning and 2 at night, just because that's what I do. I don't know that it's necessary to do it that way. You can do it how you want. Some of the other admin team takes malate in the morning for energy, because malate can be really good for energy, and then takes glycinate at night to sleep. So if someone's telling me they have insomnia, sodium, that's the only one it doesn't really fix. It's got to be the magnesium. The magnesium will help with some muscle cramping and insomnia and your bowel issues. So all three are necessary to supplement. And if you really think about it, like that's really not that bad. If I have to take those things for the rest of my life just so that I can be thin and healthy, I will absolutely do it for the rest of my life and I will never feel bad about it. But yeah, you can't stop doing it. You can't like push through keto flu. And that's the myth that apparently people are teaching once you're fat adapted, you don't ever get the keto flu again, which that's just bunk and ridiculousness right there. How is that even a thing? How is that even something that's being taught? Because keto flu literally has nothing to do with fat burning or ketosis at all, other than ketosis that makes you drop the water. That is the only thing it has to do with. So I'm not sure why people are teaching that. And I'm not sure why people who watch my channel don't know that that's not true. But that's why we're doing this video, because I want to make sure that I have documented proof that I told you guys keto flu is preventable. Keto flu will come back. And keto flu is an electrolyte balance, has nothing to do with fat burning or ketones. Nothing. It's just electrolyte imbalance. That's all it is. So hope that helped everybody. That was your lesson for today. That's all I've got to say on the matter, unless you guys have more questions about it. And I'm just going to see if anyone has questions. Now's your chance. It can be about anything. It doesn't have to be about this. I will say that these races are ripping up my lip and I'm starting to taste blood. So if all of a sudden you see blood coming out of my mouth, I apologize. Ugh, gotta love it. And I can't breathe apparently either, or swallow. I don't know what my deal is today. I am all together here. I'm going to take a drink though really quick of my Creo brew before it gets too cold. Wow, I've been talking a lot, right? I do that. Plus, you know how I like to get on a soapbox about sodium. If you know me at all, you know that that is actually the main thing I talk about all the time. All the time. And those who actually listen to me don't suffer from keto flu. So, see? Okay, so Pamela E says, I've been doing keto 8 weeks. I've tried the Soleil water twice, and both times my blood pressure has went up. Is there another way to get the sodium without raising my blood pressure? Okay. Well, first of all, the problem here lies in the fact that you've already been doing keto 8 weeks and you're low on your sodium. So your body is panicking and it will retain water in order to keep the sodium in, because it's like, ooh, sodium, we need that. And because you're not giving it enough. It will retain water for about a week. And so your blood pressure will probably be high for about a week. If it lasted longer than a week, I would be concerned and I would say, okay, don't try it. But if it's not in super high danger zone, so I'm talking like, you're going to die. Like I lived with 175/94 for well over a year without medication because I refused to take it and things were okay. So like, I'm just saying, I'm not a doctor or anything, but I will tell you that it's because your body's retaining water, because it's panicking, because you've been doing keto without it. If you had started it from day one, you wouldn't have this problem. It's because you didn't start it from day one. Your body feels deprived and it will try and hold on. It's trying to hold on to the water. So when you give more sodium, you're going to become more waterlogged. And then your blood pressure will go up because there's more pressure in your body. And that is why it's doing that. So if you can stand it to hold through for a week and just see if it drops back off, it probably will. I can't guarantee it, but it probably will. If you just don't feel comfortable doing it, you have to switch over to doing potassium supplementation, and you can use potassium citrate powder for that. If you really want great information on potassium supplementation, there is a Facebook group called Optimal Ketogenic Living who teaches similar Finney style macros, but uses potassium supplementation instead of sodium supplementation. The guy who runs the group is a little bit different. And I was banned from that group too. So I can't teach you anything because they don't want me to. They have basically told me that that's their information. It belongs to this guy. Can't remember his name. And that he worked with Dr. Finney and they're both scientists. I don't even know. Like, they didn't give me the time of day long enough for me. They don't care about other people as much as they care about their bottom line. And that irritates me. So being banned from that group is like a blessing because I really don't care. And I don't want to teach what they're teaching because what else? If they don't want to share, they only want to share with the people in that group. Rolling my eyes so hard. So hard. That's how I feel about that. But they do have good information on it. But I'll tell you this, I will warn you in advance. They also recommend a crap ton of other supplements. You think taking 3 things is bad? You go over there and you will see the stuff they make you take. It's kind of ridiculous. And that's another reason why I was like, scratch my head, literally. Yeah, no, it's not necessary. And if you're eating enough green vegetables, you don't even really need a multivitamin. I personally take one because I don't eat a lot of vegetables. If you've noticed, I eat like a cup a day. And so I take a multivitamin to make sure I get some micronutrients. If you're eating plenty of green veggies, you probably don't need that. So I'm recommending 4 things a day, and they're recommending like 20, and it's expensive. And I was like, no, yeah. Anyway, but they know a lot about it. So if you really feel uncomfortable, it's just waiting it out and letting it see if it goes back down. I mean, if it's in danger zone area, you can't do that. You just can't at this point. I mean, really, the only thing you could try would be what I wouldn't recommend, which would be going back on the standard American diet for a few weeks and then starting keto again with it. Then you might be able to do it a little more safely. You could also add it smaller doses. So you could do a week with only, 1,000 milligrams of sodium added on top of food. And then the next week, add another and another until so your body kind of eased into it. That might make it a little better. If you're going straight into the 5,000, maybe it's just a bit too much for your body to deal with at the time. I mean, like I said, not a doctor, not a scientist. This is all just like speculation. Don't tell your doctor that I told you to do it, because I have no idea. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just saying that in my mind, that's how it seems like. And with my experience with clients and with people in my Facebook group, if you've been doing keto without the sodium, you will retain water for at least a week when you start it up. That has been pretty much the given. You can just count on it. All right, let's see. Hey, Rachel Devonish from Provo. We should get together. Honest AF is here. Susan Lynch is here. All right. Lisa Naren said she had to just cut back and find her sweet spot for the blood pressure. So that's good. Like, that could be what you need to do. Like, try, like I said, start with a smaller amount. See how it goes. Nicole says she liked the freeze frame in the dance studio section of my latest Tammy's Tidbits on maintenance. We were trying to make ourselves look like Luigi or Mario on the game. Because when we stop, we do those little doubly sections in clogging. We always stop like that with our fists up. And so we were trying to do jumps. And I thought, I'm going to see if I can freeze it. And it was funny. But I didn't think I got that high. All right. Teresa says most of the women she coaches all use Soleil water because of me teaching it very well. Oh, that's good to hear. That is really good to hear. Keto Grace says 9 months on keto, never had keto flu, but get plenty of sodium. There you go. Perfect. Mama 4X says, my husband has been keto since November. He started getting symptoms of not getting his salt, and me nagging him didn't convince him, and now he's finally listening. Yep. Mine is still not listening, I don't think. Dave. Oh, and is Dave here? I don't know. Maybe Dave is here and he can tell us about. I'm not exactly sure. People keep asking, how's Dave doing? And I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, I don't keep super good tabs on his food. He just does what he does. And I'm not awesome like Keto Cricket to like meal prep him. I thought about it because I thought he'd be so much more successful if I did that, but I just cannot. I just don't have time in my life, and I hate cooking, and I just can't even with the meal prepping. He probably could, but he doesn't want to do it either. So he's basically been sitting at the same weight that he's been sitting at for the last year and 3/4. He didn't really last that long with the tracking at the beginning of the year, I think, and has fallen back into his higher fat ways because he's just more comfortable doing that. And so I'm not bugging him about it. But yeah, I do bug him about the sodium, especially when he forgets things so easily. And I just roll my eyes at him. I'm like, Dave, are you getting dementia? No, it's salt. I don't understand that, how they think that they can just get away with it. But it's obvious to me when he's suffering from it. It's not obvious to him. He thinks he's doing fine. I can see when he's suffering. He's like, oh, I have a headache. And I'm like, trying not to say anything. Yeah. Sorry if you're here, babe. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus. I love you. I love you. Sometimes he's here. All right. Life is Jules. Hello. Keto with Kids. Welcome. Let's see. Lisa Naren says, she says, yes, because if you're not well educated on keto like people are in the beginning, like she was in the beginning, you'll second guess the lifestyle because you'll think you made a mistake, but it's just electrolytes. Yep, it happens to pretty much everyone, especially that second week. It literally feels like you were running really fast and you hit a wall and it slammed into you and you fell down. And you're like, whoa, I'm dying. My sister called me and told me she was dying, even though I gave her the whole spiel and told her how important it was and told her how to do it. And she had made a plan to supplement it. When she called me and I said, how much salt have you had today? How much sodium have you had today? She couldn't tell me because she wasn't tracking it. She's like, I've had plenty. No, obviously you haven't had plenty, or you wouldn't be calling me in the middle of Walmart saying that you're dying. So I made her walk over to the salt aisle and open a box of sea salt, pour some into her hand, and eat it in the Walmart. That's what I made her do. And guess what? Guess who called me 10 minutes later saying, it's a miracle. Yep, because it is, and you need it. So yeah, even my lovely sister, who is like the keto queen, had trouble at the beginning as well. That's just one thing I took at face value and started from the second I learned about it. I never fought that one, mostly because I really like salt and I didn't really mind eating it. I thought it was yum. I got embarrassed after a while looking out of my hand because people look at me weird. And that's why I started the Soleil water. I didn't do it at first because I thought it would be so inconvenient and I thought it would be hard to make, but it really is simple to make. You can't mess it up. It's really simple. And so it took me probably good 7 months before I stopped eating the salt and started the Soleil water and was thinking, why didn't I do this sooner? This is so much easier. And it's so much less embarrassing. Though my sister always thinks that people are going to think we're drinking vodka out of these. And that never occurred to me because I've never drunk any alcohol in my entire life. But apparently she thinks people will think that. And so she's self-conscious about taking this in public for fear that people will think she's taking a shot of alcohol. I'm like, if I was taking a shot of vodka, it'd be in soda. I wouldn't like just chug it. But I don't know. She thinks that people would think that. So that's kind of funny. Hey, Jason. Viva J is here in his house. He's just popping in. He popped in to say hi a while ago. Sorry I missed you. Let's see. Claudia says, I drink Ultima electrolyte powder. If I do not have that, I will eat a pickle or drink pickle juice and it does the job. Okay. I want to address that because a lot of people do stuff like that. And I want to make sure that you guys really understand. First of all, there's no way that Ultimate Electrolyte Powder has enough sodium in it. None of them do. And probably the potassium is too high from what I am talking about if you want to get your sodium high enough. Like you can't take enough of that. Plus, secondly, I guarantee you, it's expensive. Salt is freaking cheap. I can get a whole 5-pound bag on Amazon for $12, including shipping. That will last me months making Soleil water. You don't need fancy powders and things. Your potassium comes from food. The sodium and the magnesium is all you need to buy. I buy Zal brand glycinate from Amazon. It's like $30 for like 3 months supply. Like there's no way there's no way you're getting enough electrolytes and not spending too much money if you're taking a fancy powder. You don't need a fancy powder. It's not going to do you any good. It might taste good, but you're still going to need to supplement sodium on top of that. So taking it isn't necessarily that beneficial. I guarantee you it doesn't have enough magnesium either. It's probably mostly potassium, which you don't really need to supplement. Just like a Zip Fizz. I don't know the ingredients of that particular powder, but Dr. Berg's or any of the other ones I've looked at, it's the same story. So I'm guessing Ultima is not much better. And eating a pickle is great if you're in a pinch. So say you're out and about, you forgot your salt, you don't have your Soleil water, you feel the symptoms of keto flu coming on and you're like, uh-oh, what do I do? You stop at the gas station, you get a giant pickle, you eat the pickle and you drink the pickle juice out of the container and you feel better. Yes, that is true. But the problem with doing that, pickles or pickle juice, is it's not trackable. You cannot track it because different companies use different sodium amounts. Now, the sodium in the actual pickle may be on the label, but it's give or take of whether or not it's accurate. And also, you'd have to eat a lot of them to really hit your sodium level, and you'd get sick of pickles. So they're great in a pinch if you're out and about and you forgot your salt and you're like, what do I do? But you cannot count on that to be your daily. We're talking about, guys, we're talking about supplementing like a pill. We're talking about making sure you take your salt vitamin every single day. We're not talking about if you feel the symptoms of keto flu and you're fixing it. The point of doing this is to avoid it altogether and not ever risk it. Because if you start to feel the symptoms of keto flu and you don't have any access to sodium, you're going to feel crappy really fast. Like it will go from, I don't feel that great. I'm kind of tired, to I cannot move. Like I'm feeling so awful. Like within hours. It could happen within hours. So I always, always, always have my sodium with me. And I usually have a backup source. And I learned the hard way that I didn't have a backup source the other day. And a friend who's on keto wanted some salt and didn't want sole water. And I didn't have any to give him. And he wouldn't take the sole water. And so I couldn't help him out. So me carrying around a baggie of real salt is also beneficial to my friends and family who, if they forgot, I can't tell you how many times I forgot my sole water, but I have so many friends that I have taught how to do it that they usually have some on hand. And so we kind of just like swap around if we need to. So I applaud you for making an effort in the right direction, Claudia, but I will caution you that it's not exactly what I'm teaching here. You really need to pay more attention to it, track it better, and have more sodium than what you're getting from that powder or from the pickle. Let's see. Question on sole water. How often do you need to change out the salt and the water? When it gets gunky. So when you can't like dump it off like this, when it turns pink and you can't dump it off without floating sediment on the top, that's usually when I get tired of it and to dump it out and start over. If it ever gets a weird smell, like a fishy smell, which it usually doesn't, but every once in a while I'm like, what is that? Often it's if by accident some garlic salt got dumped in. I'm not even talking about how that could happen. I still can't figure that one out, but it happened and it was really garlicky and I was like, what is wrong with my sole water? Turned out that somehow garlic salt had gotten in. It still worked, but it tasted really bad. So if it starts to taste off or smell off, but it really shouldn't. Salt kills all bacteria. So it's just about when it gets too sedimenty, when you've had so much in there that the sediment has built up on the top of the salt so much that it kind of goes into the water. That's when I'll usually dump it and start over. I make one little jar like this a day, and it gives me the exact amount a day that I need. I would make more of it. I have a backup jar just in case in my closet that I never ever take out. Like I have just one sitting up in the cupboard that's just always made that I never take any water out of. And it's been there forever and it doesn't have a weird smell. Literally forever, like over a year I've had that. And every once in a while I'll need it because something went wrong with my small bottle and I'll go back and get it. And anyway, it tastes fine. It's so good. So it's just a personal preference thing. You don't really need to switch it out unless it's grossing you out, I guess. If it grosses you out every day, I'm sorry for your salt bill. Because it lasts me forever. Okay, it looks like I have a super chat, so I am going to find it. It's Gloria S. Hello, sweetie. She asks, any chance you might be going to low-carb Seattle? If I had money, maybe I would. I don't have enough money to travel quite yet. I'm hoping by next year that the channel will be really going and the monthly income will be good enough that maybe I can do some travel. Seattle would be amazing. I don't know when it is. I can look into it and see. There's even a low-carb conference here in Utah that I really wanted to go to. It's April 26th and 27th, and I was super excited because Dr. Barry is going to be there. And I cannot go because I'm already booked for dance portraits those 2 days. And I'm always booked that weekend. So as of now, no, I'm not planning to go on any conferences. I would like to. Mexico's only reason I'm going to Mexico is because they're paying my way. So that's the honest truth right there. So if they're not paying my way, then I guess I'm not going. And that's why I'm like, please get the website going because I want to get some of you guys to join and come and meet me. We can hang out and chat and be BFFs and take pictures and do videos. And oh my heck, I cannot wait. I just hope that some of you guys are able to come. I know that it's pricey. So I think it's like $882 a ticket. per person plus flights, which about, depending on where you fly out of, it can be anywhere from $300 to $600 a person. So it's not cheap. I couldn't do it if they weren't paying for it. So that's the way it is. Okay. Going back to where I was. Let's see. Salt is life. I answered that one. Okay. So Nicole says, Naquina1, she says, the first 4 months on keto, I didn't supplement electrolytes and felt fine. But once I came across the site who shall not be named, I learned about the Sole water and then watched a lot of videos and learned how to do it. So are you supplementing it, Nicole? And did you have like issues when you went from not doing it to doing it? Did you like retain water like I was talking about? I'm curious. I already answered this question. It says, do the powder supplements have enough sodium compared to Sole water? No. Sole water has 14,000 milligrams per tablespoon. And I can swallow a tablespoon in like half a sec. It's so easy to take. It makes it easier. To supplement. Okay, so Nicole said she didn't start Sole water for feeling ill. She wanted to lower her blood pressure, and it actually worked. But now her body's so dependent on Sole water, she can't go a day without it if she gets a headache. That's because your body has learned that it's okay to drop the water and it doesn't have to retain. So you're not retaining water to retain the tiny bits of sodium you were getting from your food. That's why. If you stopped it for long enough, you would start retaining water again and maybe be okay. But you're never going to get back the mental clarity and the energy and stuff that you had on Sole. Also, I have a friend who suffered from adrenal fatigue, which I don't even really believe is a real thing. It's been, a lot of my friends have been labeled adrenal fatigue, and it turned out it was a lot of other things that wasn't adrenal fatigue. But I have a friend who suffered from this for 8 years. She hardly got out of bed, horribly depressed. She asked me about keto, and for some reason, the only thing she really heard, I think it's because that's what she needed to hear, was about the Sole water. And she started taking it, and it was literally a miracle. As it so happens, she was not suffering from adrenal fatigue. Her body is just really bad at processing sodium and holding on to it. And it literally overnight fixed her. She became a human again, where she could actually take care of her beautiful 7 children and like be a mom. Now she drives all over the world like me, and she takes cups of Sole water a day. She has to, because her body just doesn't hang on to it. It's like it literally goes through her, never causes her any issues with diarrhea or anything. She literally cups of Sole water, but it's the only thing that keeps her human. So I'm kind of ticked that salt has been so vilified, because it's really hard to convince people that salt is good for you. But I'm telling you what, if you're going to eat keto, and this girl isn't even eating keto, this is just a completely different like life situation. If she went on keto, it would probably be even worse. I don't know, maybe. But anyway, I can't go without it either. Keto Steve, you're adorable. She says, clogger and ballerina and YouTube star, what can't she do? Hey, I can't dance ballet, but I like to do the bar work, and I'm not that great at clogging. And I will warn you in advance that we are doing freaking Kiss for the recital. Yes, complete with face paint. Help us all. I'm pretty out there, and it still makes me like my stomach squeeze, and I'm so nervous when I think about doing it. That's how scared I am. Wish me luck, but I'm doing it. And you know what? Why I'm doing it is because, well, first of all, I've always loved dancing, and that's why my kids do so much of it, because I didn't get to when I was a kid, and I really wanted to. But secondly, I want my girls to see me being healthy and doing the things they love and participating with them. And it's been huge. I was really ticked because at my last weigh-in video, if you just saw that, I did it outside, and I was walking with my daughter. We were looking for my little kids who had walked off to the neighbor's house, and that's when I made my video. And I was talking about how I was worried that I'd actually put on fat this week or this last 2 weeks with all of the extra calories I've been eating to try and do maintenance. And someone actually criticized me and said, did your daughter hear you say that? And I'm like, heck yes, she did. Are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, they were implying that it was bad for me to talk about not wanting to gain weight in front of my daughter. I'm like, I'm sorry, but my daughter has seen me at almost 400 pounds and almost dead. And she's seen me having to try and huff and puff down the street to find my kids at almost 400 pounds. And my daughter knows what I've gone through to get where I am. And she knows how hard I've worked. And she sees me at her ballet class doing ballet with her. And she sees me in clogging, doing clogging like they do. And she wouldn't trade that for the world. And she also knows how scared I am of regain and how worried I am about maintenance because I don't know what I'm doing. Because I don't have any keto guides to help me with this anymore because they fired me. So I am figuring it all out on my own, which kind of sucks. And she knows all of that. She's almost 11 years old and she's freaking smart. And the fact that she heard me worried about it, she knows already that I am worried about it because she knows what I've gone through and how scared I would be if my weight started going back up. Not because I don't want to be fat or how I look or worried about any of that, because I don't really give a crap about how I look. I give a crap about whether or not I can still take ballet class with her, which I couldn't do if I gained the weight back because I couldn't be able to do it. Oh, so if you're watching, whoever you were, that was really rude. That's how I feel about you telling me what I can talk about in front of my kids. Because frankly, I'm an awesome mom. And my kids have watched me struggle with depression, with all kinds of horrible things. You think that is bad? That is nothing compared to what kids deal with on a daily basis in this world. If that's the worst thing my daughter has to hear is me worried about gaining weight because I don't know what I'm doing yet on my maintenance macros, that's good for her. Because in the future, she's probably going to have to do keto and she's probably going to have to understand maintenance. And she's going to have already seen me do it and figure it out. So there. Now, let me soapbox. Sorry, I was mad about that. Really mad about that. It really made me really angry. I'm like, anyway. No, I'm not going to KetoCon. I wish anybody wants to sponsor me. Maybe I can work it out, but I don't even know when it is. Like, that's how far removed I am from that world. I am so not ready for that world yet. Though I have a feeling after Mexico, I'll get drawn in. We'll see. But I really can't deal with anything during the spring. So if it's in the spring, nope. If it's in the fall, it's possible. You never know. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just reading everybody's stuff and I've already answered a lot of this. Okay, so Afshin, oh my gosh, I'm going to slaughter this. Afshin Shoaib Hassan, 3rd week of keto, just reduced 2 kilograms of weight and then gained 2 kilograms back. Feeling lazy, sleepy, and pain in my body, cramps, and legs. That's exactly what this video is for. You need salt, a lot of it, a lot. You also could really use high potassium foods for a minute to try and build your potassium back up because that's what happened. You let your salt drop because you lost the 2 kilograms. Your body panicked and put them back on in water weight. You haven't gained back fat, but you probably didn't lose fat to begin with. You probably lost water weight and your salt. And your body panicked and it's holding on to it to try and get it back so that your body can run. So if you start supplementing your sodium, it'll take about a week. You'll feel a lot better and the water will drop back off and you'll continue on your journey. So I hope that helps. Oh, Terry Deshawn is here. Woohoo! I'm so glad you're here. I've been so worried about you. I know if I don't hear from you, it's probably not a good thing. Rachel Devonish, have we thought of doing a meetup in Utah? If there were enough of you, I know Nicole would probably come and maybe Charlotte Sade and you. If you guys want to, I'm game. Like we could definitely like go out to lunch or dinner or even just get together at the park and watch the kids play or sure, I'm game. If you want to message me, just message me on Facebook and we can work it out. I'd love to do that. When I do meetups, I did one in Atlanta because I was going clear to the other side of the world, it felt like, and I thought I better meet some people over there. Locally, I haven't really done that, though I have got together with Nicole, because she came and bought eggs from me, which was nice. Nicole, by the way, let me know if you want me to save eggs for you, because I've been selling them kind of as I'm getting them this time, so if you want me to save up some for you, let me know. So yeah, I could do a Utah meetup if you want. Let's find a day. Message me. Maybe we'll start a group chat. Any of you guys from Utah, find me on Facebook, on my Facebook group, and message me, and we'll work it out. Sure, it'll be fun. Let's see. If you have a headache and you're keeping your sodium high It's probably caused by something else, though it could be you let it get low one day and your body's just still taking time to make it up. If you've been crying a lot, you'll need a lot more than normal. I know you haven't been feeling that great, and so maybe you need more. But do I think it's rare to suffer from low potassium? No. But I really feel like the sodium fixes that problem too. Because when you keep your sodium high, your body takes every bit of potassium that you eat and keeps it. Does that make sense? So I hope that helps. But you can definitely, if you're feeling crappy and the sodium isn't helping, it could be your potassium is too low, and you can give yourself a potassium bolus of citrate, or like I used to say, Zip Fizz, because it's got like 900 milligrams of potassium in a Zip Fizz. So it's a quick bolus of potassium if you just want to take one dose and see if it helps you. It just didn't make me feel that awesome, so I didn't take it very often, but you can. Can I have too much Soleil water? Technically, yes. Dr. Finney he used to recommend not going above 16,000 milligrams. Lately, people have been telling me, he says don't go over 8, but I'm pretty sure that's for the standard American diet, 8,000. So not really. I don't think you could consume enough in your body if you eat too much of it. The thing about sodium that's nice, and it's different than potassium, is potassium I guess does it too. If you overdo it, usually your body will fight back by having diarrhea. It will dump it before it will get dangerous. So really you can't have too much. One of the moderators from the site that shall not be named, I remember she used to take like 16,000 a day, but she worked on a farm and she was always out working. So I digress. I don't know for sure. Like, I'm not going to say, I'm not a doctor, but I personally have never overdone it. And I've had at least 16,000 before in the summer, especially when I'm sweating. In my opinion, I say, welcome. Terry Deshawn says, don't forget to sign up for my Patreon. I agree. I have another Tammy's Tidbits that'll be coming up sooner. And it's going to be a shopping spree. So if you guys want to see my shopping spree where I bought this really awesome retro sweater, go join my Patreon. You can see it 24 hours before everyone else. And I have different tiers and different people get different things, but everybody gets to see the videos. Every Patreon gets to see the videos. What city am I going to in Mexico? It is Playa del Carmen. So we'll be flying into Cancun and then busing, I guess, to Playa del Carmen or something like that. I can't remember the name of the resort. But yeah, if you're in Mexico, let's do a meetup. You can tell me where to meet you. Or you can come with me. Keto says, everyone send me $5 on Venmo and we can get her there. You're sweet. If you guys did that, I'd make a point of trying to go. But frankly, I don't know when the dates are. So don't do that unless I have the chance to look at the dates and see like if I can even do it. In my opinion, Isay says, do you find Mio gives you weight stalls? Using daily, losing weight, 8 weeks on keto, I like to keep using it. I have never experienced a weight stall. Nope. In fact, last year, I only was on my weight loss macros and effectively tracking 4 months out of the year. No, January, February, June, and October. Yeah, 4 months out of the year. The rest of the time I did lazy keto. And during the months where I had lazy keto and I kept my calories really high, I still lost 2 pounds every 4 weeks. I literally have never been able to stall it, which is why I keep trying, because I'm worried. Is that blood? I'm bleeding. Sorry. Maybe it's just my lipstick. I am actually bleeding, guys. I can taste it. I'm killing my gums with these braces today. Eek. But I personally have never had any problem with sucralose or erythritol or aspartame or monk fruit or what else is there? Xylitol or, oh man, am I forgetting? Stevia. None of them have bothered me. None of them have given me cravings, which would be the one I would worry about. None of them have made me retain water. I've tried getting rid of them and not having them to see if that was what was causing my water retention. And literally nothing I've tried has made any difference. I retain for 2 weeks and I lose. I retain, I lose. It happens no matter what I eat. It happens the only thing that makes me retain that I guarantee it will make me retain the next day is pumpkin seeds. That's the only one. I know if I eat them tomorrow, I am going to be bloated and miserable. But I like them so much that occasionally I still do it. It doesn't kick me out of ketosis. I just apparently can't handle pumpkin. I don't know. Pumpkin seeds, anyway. Okay. April Wooten, welcome. Jamie J, welcome. Teresa, Keto Fat Girl No More, says she was on a water pill and 4 blood pressure meds before keto. She used to pee all day and night. Soleil water changed her world along with keto. Thanks, Tammy, you saved me. Aw, sweetie, I love you. Love you so much. Yeah, you guys are so sweet. Keto Steve, you're the best. He loves me too, apparently. You guys all love me. I love that. It's awesome because, like, people online really love me. People in real life are irritated by me a lot. I'm sure you can imagine. I talk a lot, and I am kind of irritating sometimes. And when I get ticked, I'm not super nice. I'm kind of the B word a little bit. And so, there's that. I try to be nice on here. Why is with me not being in focus? Stop it. Stop it. Thank you. I try not to be a B word on the internet. Sometimes I am. But in real life, you mess with my kids and the axe will come down. I will warn you in advance. Don't mess with my kiddos, and I am mean. Brandy, you say that I look so much better than I did at the beginning of ballet. I look more graceful. The teacher agrees with you, but I just don't see it. I think I'm just so super critical about it. But the teacher keeps saying, Tamara, you're working so hard. Tamara, nice. And she has made many verbal comments that have pointed out that she feels like I am really working hard and not just being in the class to be in the class, but that I'm actually improving, which does make me happy. I'm never going to be a classically trained ballerina. I am thinking of adding a second class, though, at the other studio because they have opened a Wednesday morning class. And I am actually thinking about maybe joining that one for the next few months just for fun. So there you go. Luz Diaz, welcome back. Good to see you. Don't forget to hit the like button. You guys are awesome. What's in Mexico? Terry, where have you been, my friend? So this is the end. This is the end of this video. So I will mention Mexico again because I mentioned at the end of my last live chat. I have been asked to speak at an all-inclusive resort vacation that is centric around keto. So it will basically be, I think it's 5 days, 4 nights or something like that. Or how does that work? I'm not exactly sure. It's like the 22nd through the 26th, but it claims to be 5 days. So I can't figure that out. In Playa del Carmen at a resort, there will be like a welcome speaker. At first they asked me to be the welcome speaker, but I think that they're not having me do that anymore, which is nice because I don't know that I could talk for 2 hours about keto without, especially in front of keto people, without being really super nervous. I don't know. I know that I'm teaching a breakout session on maintaining your keto lifestyle during very busy times because, I'm the queen of that. So I will be teaching a class, and in exchange for my teaching services, they are paying for my whole trip for me and Dave. So it's $882 a person normally. All the people that come from me get 10% off, so it'll be about $800 a person. The flights are between $300 and $600, and they're giving me $400 towards flights. So my flight will be covered, and we just need to come up with Dave's flight. For every person that signs up through me, I personally get $40, up to $40. So I need at least 10 people to sign up through me to pay for Dave's flight, which would be, I think, fairly easy. I think there's easily 10 of you that want to come and meet me and hang out at the pool, right? I know there are. And this is going to be in August. So August 22nd through the 26th, I think, are the dates. The website is still not ready. They're doing, this is all volunteer, and the volunteer person that is doing the websites must not be quick about it and must be doing other things. So it will be Ketolish 2019. So KETOLISH 2019.com. You'll want to probably click through my YouTube channel and I'll do a video. So once it's up, I'll do a special little live chat that's all about Mexico, and it will have the links and you can click through that because I think it might even be an affiliate link in order to get the 10% off. Not exactly sure. There was something about me being able to gift or give away a couple of the registration fees. I'm not exactly sure if that's accurate. The registration fee is $175. So I might be able to give two people $175 off, but I don't quote me on that because I really don't know for sure. The details have been kind of sketchy because this is the first time they've done this. This woman has done a lot of all-inclusive travel. This isn't the first time she's done this, but it's the first time it's been keto centric and be like a conference. So it'll be a conference with classes, exercise. There'll be like cycling class and yoga class and things like that in the morning that you can go to if you want. All the meals will be keto friendly. All of the drinks and alcohol, which I will not be partaking in, will be keto friendly. That ought to be awkward because we may be the only people there who are not drinking, but I don't drink, so it's going to be weird. And then it also includes, I think, the excursions. So if we go zip lining, I guess zip lining might be a thing. Scares the crap out of me, but I will do it for you guys. I will do it for you. Now we'll vlog the whole thing, of course, and anybody that comes can hang out with me for 5 days in Mexico. Who doesn't want to do that? It was going to be fun. Dave will be there, leaving the brats at home. No, I love them. They're not brats, but I'm leaving them all at home with their big brothers. So I'm super excited. All right. So that's what Mexico is. So if anyone wants to go, hang on to your tax money for a minute until I have the website ready, and as soon as I know, you'll know. That's how it's going to be. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, you guys. We're well over our time, and I appreciate you being here for my soapbox on Soleil water and sodium. I hope that I was clear and that this is going to be a good video for me to share with people when they have keto flu or when they ask about keto flu, or like poor Lori Keto when she's searching for videos on keto flu and can't find one. I'm hoping that this one will be the answer to that. And it won't be the last time I talk about electrolytes on this channel. Guaranteed. Thanks everyone for hanging out with me. We'll talk to you again soon.